Good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of you. I think how many of you are online right now? I can see 5 or 6 people are online right now. So today what we will be discussing, we will just take a revision of the discussions what we have discussed in the class and here in offline or online. So that revision we will discuss today. The all the basics of features of Java, and I think you are studying, all of you are studying my notes, lecture notes. As I told you, it's a very easy way. I have prepared these notes, and so okay, already so many of you have joined. Good evening to all of you again. I think all of you are fine and safe at home. As what I used to tell you that there has been I won't say it's rumor. You might have heard that examination, regarding the examination from the university, we are getting many news in different ways at different times. But I will suggest you, you should get prepared, because your motive or your aim should not be only to qualify the exam, right? It must be aimed to that you will be having a basic knowledge on this subject, so that you can prove yourself as a competent professional in your working field. So that should be your motto. Your motto should not be that only to qualify the exam. So you don't need to be concerned with this, whether the final exam will happen or not. You just keep on studying, and I generally I think in that way that in every crisis there is an opportunity. So this is a good opportunity that you are getting enough time to get yourself prepared. So let us come to our discussion. See, I will today discuss the first 5 lecture notes what I sent, and I think you might have you have studied this. So from the constructor, in the class I told you that constructor is nothing but when we need to initialize an object with some variable at the time of its declaration. We need to initialize the objects with some values. So we the method we use, that is called constructor. So constructor is a method which we use to initialize the object at the time of its creation. Here you can see an example where okay, I think you can see me online. Okay, let me check the configuration. Is, I think yeah, just a minute. Hold on for a while. Yeah, you can, I think all of you can see me. So for the constructor, there are some codes which we have in our notes, how a constructor is defined in the class. So it's a special method. Okay, here and constructor name must be same as the class name. You can see here simple constructor. Here class name is my class, so the constructor name must be same as my class, right? I'm getting some yeah, right. I think you are now, it's not available, I think. Yeah, all of you can see me right now. Please respond, please respond. Are you able to? Yeah, I think now it's fine, right? Yes. Yeah, a little bit configuration was required for this camera, for the capturing of camera. Now it's fine. So coming to the discussion, so we are talking about the constructor. At the time of initializing an object with some values, we need to call a constructor. Constructor is nothing but a special type of method with the name same as the class name here. So here you can see that we have declared two objects of my class T1 and my class T2, and with the value 10 and 20 in different, for the different objects, we are calling a constructor. Means here this object T1 will be initialized with the value 10 when it is being created, and we are just printing the value this. So I think it's very easy and you can understand by yourself once you will study the notes. The basic data type, primitive data types, whatever you have studied in C, here you will be having some enriched data types in Java, what we will not get in the primitive languages like C languages, right? Here byte, you didn't find this byte type of data in C. Byte, short, int, a long, float. This long float you will be getting, but some of the data types is you will not get in the C, what you have studied earlier. Double, boolean, char. So I am not wasting time to read the notes. Is a very simple, just you go through and you will be able to understand the different kind of data types used in Java, right? So this is the so these nodes is mainly, these are the different escape sequence, more or less same as the C, with a bit of difference. Variable types, right? Data types. Okay, double value, these are the applications we have shown in the program. This is, and see here is an example that we are initializing and we are just manipulating of data of a variable in this method pop age for this test class, and here we are calling a constructor test new test for this test class, and with nothing we have passed while creating the object, but so we cannot call it as constructor. Constructor is only needed when we need to initialize the data at the time of its creation. So here test.popage. So here in the popage method, basically we are manipulating the variable of this test class. Okay, and so same instance variable, and this is the lecture note, the first lecture note. of my the study material what I have given to you. Those who missed the class, those who didn't attend a single class so far, so follow my lecture. It will be very easier for you to understand. So nothing more there in my first lecture. Now coming to the second one. Just what are the operators generally we handle in Java. Just the different operators, same as the C what you have studied. Some relational operators are there: equal, not equal to, greater than, less than, same as any primitive language we use in Java. Bitwise operator also is the same. Okay, next the logical operators, and or not, as you know all these. So you just go through these notes for your future reference. And here ternary operator, so same as the C here. And let me show an example here. Say here, this is the condition. If the condition becomes true, then the value followed by the query sign will be valid. Otherwise, if the condition becomes false, then the value followed by the colon sign will be true. Here A is 10. So here we are checking with the condition. If A is 1, no, A is 10. So it is a false statement. It is written a false Boolean value. So what will be the actual value for the assignment of this B? 30, because A is not 1, A is 10, so it is false. So here this will be valid, so B is 30. Okay, so value of B will be 30 here. The value of B is 30. At the output you can see. The same way A is 10, yes, it is true, then the value of B will be 20 here. The later on we have written that value of B is 20. Okay, so this way, just to revise the note, I think all these are known to you. Just to check a revision, I am going through my notes one after another. Now the next material was loop decision making, number class, character class, string class. So here this is an flowchart of the conditional statement. You know already valid here. What are the loops? While loop, for loop, do while loop, same as C. Okay, if you have any queries, you can put in a chat box. I will be answering one after another. Okay, but let me first complete the discussion. I think how many of you are online? Now onwards I am planning that I will be taking the class through this platform, because this is the most secured and authentic and most optimized way of data streaming. I can tell you that. You know that YouTube by default makes the streaming optimized, so not that much the problem you are getting for the data exhaustion, that will not be here. Okay, so if you follow this platform, it will be better for you. This is the best platform, I must say. So now the loop of the Java, how we handle here, also the same way we are handling the loop. Okay, this is the array. You can see that like see here the number array variable is numbers. We can put this symbol before the array name or after the array name, it doesn't matter. Here we are initializing the array with the 5 elements. Okay, and here you are just printing the value. Okay, one after another. Here string name is another array. We are initializing with the 5 names, means 5 elements. So as I told you that here Java is having some default uh, classes like a string is not there in C, but in Java we are having a default class, and the object we can create with those default classes. The string is a default class, and here the names, an array of this name is being created and initialized. Okay, now we have just printed the values of the array here using this default array class. So the variables, better will be calling it this an object. This name is an array name, what we used to call, but here we will be calling this name is an object of the string class. String array class. Decision making, same if and ternary operator, which we are just discussing about. Okay, and nothing more. These are number methods. These are different default methods we will be using while writing the code as and when required, as compared to it is valid for the string. Comparison equals value of two string. If we are supposed to convert an integer to a string, we will be using this method. Parsing, this is the parsing of any data type to an integer type. As we know that we will be here, this is must when we will be taking input from keyboard, because from the keyboard when we are executing program, we are supposed to supply all the arguments through keyboard in our command prompt, and these strings would definitely must be converted into an integer if we are supposed to handle some integer value. So by default this integer data will be supplied as a string from our keyboard, because all these characters means this, all whatever will be supplying, this will be supplied as a string. So we need to convert it for this integer to get the integer data type. So percent is used for that. Abs returns the absolute value. This is the different floating to get the precision. We get the floating value. Floor, round off to make the round off of a particular value. We use round, mean, max. These all are returns the smaller of the two arguments. So all these are default methods available in different packages in Java. Okay. All of you are getting me? All of you are? Hello? Yeah, respond in your chat box. Okay. Arif Mullah, sir, what type question for data type topic? The data types which we are discussing or which is available in the notes, these are enough data types. So you have to just go through the notes, you will be getting the answers, right? And as you know that we are going to conduct an internal exam, so I am telling you that I will be sending some question answer material. Once you will go through the question and answer, you will get all the questions like the pattern what you will be getting in your question answer note, which I will be providing you. So you don't need to worry. If you just go through my notes, you will be able to answer the questions which you will be getting in your exam, internal exam. So don't get worried about this. Anyways, let me check any questions, any more questions has been put from you in my chat box. Okay. Okay, fine. So let us continue with the discussion. Here escape, different type of escape sequence are there. It's more or less like C. Okay, so I am not wasting time for this method and description. You will get again the different methods. Following the list of important instance methods that all the subclasses of the character class implement. So as and when required, will be implementing this to check whether the case of a string is upper or not. We are using this is upper case, is uppercase, to lowercase. To convert it into lowercase, we just do this. To convert a numerical value into a string, we just use this to string. As I was telling that string is a default class. Here how to create a string. Okay, you can see that here we have taken a string with a hello arrow name, hello array. Okay, so here we have initialized the elements of array in this way at the time of this declaration. So char, this is in a way what we do in C, but this is actually what we do in the Java, what we can't do in C. That is, string is a class. Now hello string is an object of this class. Hello string is our variable. We have selected the name of the string class, but this string and S will be in capital, as class name starts with the capital letter in Java. So string, hello string, new string, this hello array. So whatever values we have initialized in the previous statement hello array, so we are passing this hello array in a string. So again, this hello array actually is getting the value of this previous assignment, right? Now here the hello string hello. So to you here what we are doing, we are using the conventional way what we do in C, that we are just initializing the array hello array with the different matrix, the different element to create and reinitialize if we want that hello string, another string variable. Basically what we are doing, we are copying this hello array, elements of hello array to the hello string, right? So hello string is a different string variable with a different pattern of its declaration. Here we have used string class, but here we didn't use this. This is a conventional manner. So hello string, we will be getting these elements of hello array. So hello array will be copied in hello string, because we are passing this array here in the string, in this at the time of creation of this object. So the hello string is an object of string class, and we are getting the value of object at the time of its creation, that is new string hello array. Okay, now we are just printing hello string. Okay, now string length, there are so many default method available in Java. See that the dot length is a method. If we are supposed to find the length of a string, what we used to do in C, we used to call with the default library function, that is strlen. Here also we will be getting a method length to find out the length of a string. Here we are finding out the length of a string, palindrome dot length. Palindrome is a string, is an object of string class with this initialization, right? Dot saw I was dot, this one. Okay, so we are just printing the length. So how to use the method? We have lots of methods for the string class, default methods that we can use as and when required. Concatenation of string, default method is there. Okay, string 1, this string 1, and how this is the way when, as you know, that when we are going to print anything, a value with some message, along with some message, what we need to do within system dot out dot println, first we put it the message within the double bracket, then plus the then value. It may be an integer value or it may be a string value. So that will be printed, the message will be printed with the result or numeric value. So this is a different way. I think most of you know all these things, just I am taking a revision. There are several methods and description compared to just go through the notes. You will be able to understand by yourself. Now let me go to my next note, that is lecture notes unit 2 set 2 array date and time. Here I think we have discussed the array in earlier. Again a revision with some program. Okay, here this the dot length, as you know that in C, if we want to pass an array to a function, what we used to do, we used to call the function with the array name and the size of the array. If the array, because we don't know the dimension of the array when we are passing the array to a function, because it is not possible for that local function to know about the dimension of array which is declared in a main. But here it is not required, because there is a variable length which will calculate the number of elements present in the array. So we don't need to pass the length of an array or dimension of an array explicitly while calling a function, while passing an array to a function. Means only that passing the array name is sufficient. Okay, so we can see that my list dot length will return 1 2 3 4 over here, and since the array index starts from 0, so definitely, as you know, that I less than my list dot length, this way we will be printing this array, these elements of the array. Summing all elements, we have to, it's very easy. We have taken a total variable and we are just summing up all the elements of the array, and finally we are storing the result in total. Okay, double max minus is another to find out the largest element. As you know, the algorithm we initialize the first element as a max. We have taken a variable, max variable, and we are storing the first element considering this is the maximum element, and gradually we are comparing each and every subsequent elements of the array with this max. Once we will get that one will be maximum in comparison to the previous one, we are changing the value of the max here. So it will be very easy, and ultimately eventually we are getting the max, right? So you can see the output here, and test array is another following code displays all the elements in the array in my list. How this is the way to display all the elements in the array. Okay, so far I think a very basic thing, nothing there to understand. Orindam Nath, JKB sir, fans hit like. I am not getting your point, what you are telling. Anyways, Orindam, are you there? Orindam, are you there? What do you mean by this? JKB sir, fans like, hit like? Huh? Little bit, I think you are not in, mentally you are not present, you are thinking something else. Anyway, so please concentrate, right? It is just for time passing, you can just go through the notes because it's the very basic, because the main features of the Java we haven't started. Okay, but some enriched features, basic features are there, are there in Java we should know. Date and time, and there's a very nice feature regarding date. We can do a lot of things with the default date class in Java, and this class remains in the java.util package. And how to create a package, how to handle the package, that is a different chapter we will be discussing later on. That is also important, as you know that if we want to if you want to club so many classes into one in a single an entity, we need to have a package. Okay, so we can create our own package also. So how to create our own packages I will discuss later in a different class. So these are the different methods we use to manipulate the data or to work with the data. Getting current date and time, there's a program. Date is a class, and here d small, starting with the small d, we are creating an object of the date, and we are initializing a new date with some date here. This is the current date. Instantiate a date object, then date to string. So the new date by default gets the value of the current date, means the date which is there in your system, that date will be caught, and this date object will be having that date which is set in your system. Okay, if it is set as false, that false date or time will be assigned to that object. Date formatting, using simple date format, there are several date formats. You can also design, you can also set a format according to your own requirement. This is an example of how to set a date format. Okay, date format D. Now this is the example, so you can just taste writing this code whether, and you will see that you will be getting this output. Okay, Surojit Creations, স্যার স্ক্যাম কোড কেমন কোড কি আছেন বুঝতে পারছি না, প্লিজ লিসেন টু স্যার, আই এম নট আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং ইউ সুরজিৎ, ইয়া টেল মি, please listen to sir. Surajit, yeah, tell me what you are asking. Listen to what sir is saying. Okay, don't waste your time, Surajit, because so many friends of you are present in online. So first let me complete my today's discussion, then we will have a chatting and we will I will answer all your queries. Okay, let us come back with the discussion. So there are the different date formats. I am not wasting the time with this. You just go through if you want to know so many jargons with this data date manipulations. You can just have a look for your reference. Okay, so percent, okay, and date demo. Okay, so let us conclude this set with the date constructor and description. I think nothing more here. All these are for the data with the date and timing. So many programs, if you like you can go through this date, okay, and time. So let us go to the next note, that is unit 2 set 3, object class constructor. These are the features we will be discussing in a different classes. So the introduction, objects, You know, there is an instantiate. When we need to instantiate a class, we think about object. So constructor, we have already discussed constructor, creating an object, declaration, instantiation, and initialization. Okay. Rohit Prasad sir, I have a question regarding a question which I was not able to solve in the hack within anyways in a contest. Rohit, do one thing, you just put your question in Google Classroom. All of you can put your questions in Google Classroom from your account. I will be getting, so better I will answer over there. Okay, so otherwise this flow will be disrupted the way I am taking your classes. Okay, and string here as an example how to access instance variable and method of a class. See, here we have designed a class with the puppy name and is a variable. Here string name we are setting the value of this setting the value of a variable of this class. The variable's puppy age, we can, to set this variable with a value, we have taken a method set age. So there are two ways we can set the values of the variable explicitly taking different methods, or we can set the value at the time of declaration for the object. So these are the two methods. Set age and get age is to print the age. System.out.print, we are getting this value. Okay, and here see that public static void puppy name method and an example how to set and get the variable value with some different methods we have used. Okay, and Java package, as I was telling you that I will be taking a different class. It's very interesting feature to create a package in Java. How to create a package in Java, that I will be discussing later on. Here is a very good example. See, all of you concentrate here. An example of employee class, right? As you know, these are the probable variables we can have in a class of employee: string name, age, designation, and salary. See, here we are initializing the value of an object within the class. Okay, we are actually assigning the values of an object of the class where we are defining the class. See, so this, for in this case, this is a default object. Here, without creating any object, if we use this, then the object will be having the value here. So the name, when we are calling on from main class, we will be calling this employee method with a name. That value will be assigned to this class. We haven't created any object. That's why we are referencing the object as this object. Okay, just concentrate this code. just see how we are calling. Okay, and I think this here we have created two classes. One is employee. This class is not having any main method. This class is a collection of some data variable and methods which we will be using in a different class, and we are saving this class in a different file. Just concentrate here. We are creating this class with a different class file. This class is not having any main method. In another file, the employee test class, we are actually putting the main, and we are calling the classes, the objects with the classes which we have created here in the different class file. So we need to compile two class files here. First, this is not having any main method, okay, and here which is having the main method and which is calling the object of the classes which we have defined in the different file. And so in the same path these two class files must be present, otherwise it will be difficult to search for the system. Now we are calling we are actually creating object EMP1 and EMP2 with an employee class, and this employee class is defined here, this employee, okay, with this variable and with the assignment of the variable by a different methods. Okay, so here the employee EMP1 and EMP2 are assigned, these objects are assigned with these values, and how it is invoked, we can see the string name means here. If you can see this James Smith, for this EMP1 object we are passing this James Smith name as a string. So this James Smith will be caught here, this name, and this is a local variable for this employee. So this name must be assigned to the object of this employee class. This dot name means this name and this name, these are not same. This name is a local of this which we are getting from this class, employee class, with this value, and this value are being passed and is being caught by this name, and this name is assigned to this variable of this employee class. Okay, so this is the sequence. If you maintain the sequence to understand, you can understand the flow of the sequence, right? So two different employee objects we have created, and EMPH, okay, the EMP salary, print employee, these are the methods which we have designed here in earlier in this employee file. You can see EMP designation, EMP salary, and print employee. So this is a very good example to handle the two class files. So here on output you can see we need to compile the two class file separately. One is employee.java, another is employee test Java. Employee test Java is actually having the main method, so we are supposed to run this only, because this is not needed to run execute. This must be having only a class file of employee, right? To invoke the methods from here we need to compile and we need to have the class file with the employee name. but this needs to be executed. That's why we are supposed to interpret this file only, this class file. As you know that after compilation a Java file we get that dot class file, right? Employee test.java, so we'll be getting employee test.class, and after that if we run as an interpreter with interpreter Java, we will be able to execute that for that class file which contains the main method, and this output you will be getting. Okay, so this is let us do you have any other questions so far what we have discussed? Do you have any confusion? For a break we can I can hear you. Do you have any question, or let me continue with the rest of the notes which I have planned to complete by today. Okay, our next lecture is a method and method overloading. Okay, let us complete this and we will conclude this today's session with this method overloading feature of the Java. As I told you that what is method overloading, which is a very interesting and enriched feature in Java, which is not available in C. In C we can't put any function or method more than one time. A particular program, in a particular program we can mention or we can define a function for a single time only. We cannot define a same function repeatedly. Only one time definition is allowed in C, but here we can define a method with the same name more than one time. What we need to do? We need to have a different prototype of the same method. As you know that a method or a function generally contains three items: pattern, the return type, name of the method, and the list of arguments with its data type. So apart from the name, if we change the the features like return type or the list of arguments or the data type of the arguments, we can have more than one method with a different signature. This feature is called method overloading, and to avoid the confusion of the Java interpreter or compiler, we according to the which method will be called, because the name is same, so which method will be called when, that depends on the pattern of its calling. So but that particular method will be executed which will match which will match with the same pattern at the time of calling. Means according to the calling pattern, that particular method will be invoked. And here is an example method calling, and let us see an example. Minimum number is fine, and method overloading, just see example. This is the method rank point, is very passing parameter value and swap function. Okay, let me directly go to method overloading, right? This follow this example. Here we have defined a function. Okay, uh, mean function. These functions with the same name but with different prototype. One is returning integer, another is returning double or float. I think here, if you go through the definition, you will get to know. Here, public static int main function, and here public static double main function. And the public static means, I think you know that when we don't need to create any object for a class, we define the we declare the method as static. Like main, public static void main doesn't need to have any object by itself, object of main, because we are starting the execution starts from the main, so there is no scope to create an object for main. So main must be declared as a static. So like this way, if we don't need to create any object of a class, we must declare the object as a static. So here the main function, same name of the functions, but the variable type of the variables and return type are different. Here return type is main int, and here the return type is double. So according to the pattern of the calling, say here int result 1, so definitely we are invoking a function, a method which will return an int value, right? So here which main function will be invoked, this or this must be invoked, because here we are getting the return type as int. So according to the pattern of its calling, the particular method will be executed, though we are having the method with the same name but with a different signature. This is called method overloading, because at a one time only one function must be executed, right? And here in this case, the for float double, this must be invoked. So this is called method overloading. And this is an example of this string how to find out the length of an array. As you know that there are some, I told you, some features in Java which are not there in C. We can find out the length of an array using this length variable. This is a variable which is defined in Java. Length, the length is not our variable. This is the variable which is defined in the Java. So we can get so many name data means keywords which we can consider as a variable. Okay, so this keyword I was just using a little bit earlier, that how to use this while declaring or defining some data in a class. So this dot age means this object of this student class, this object. Here we are initializing the value of this age with this object, right? Anurag Pandey, sir, why do we normally use constructor when we need to initialize the values of the variable of object at the time of declaration of the object? We use constructor. So constructor is nothing but a special type of object which is used to initialize with the values at the time of its creation. Clear? Okay. So next one is nothing, you just go through these different examples. Variable arguments I will discuss later. This is also an interesting feature. Finalize is just the reverse of this constructor. Finalize is to destroy an object, means we always need to destroy an object which has occupied some memory, to reuse the memory which is which was already used by some object with the constructor, or whatever it is, this definition, we need to make it free. That's why to do this we use this method, finalize method. Okay, nothing else. And I think what we planned that next lecture note is for these IO operations. Let me conclude with this for today's session. I will come tomorrow and start with this IO operations, how many ways we can handle input output in Java. So with this discussion we will start again the next day, tomorrow. I am planning to be online in tomorrow. So let us conclude with this discussion, today's discussion, and if you have any question you can ask me. Do you have any questions, or we will be conclude with this notes? What do you say? Any questions from your side? What do you say? So let us end the session for today. And see, I will be giving some assignments also in your Google Classroom which you need to solve. And solving these assignments you will get an idea the questions, regarding the questions you can expect in your internal exam. Alright, so thank you all, thank you for being online. Be safe and be fine at your home. Let us conclude the today's discussion with this. Thank you.